Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. I would like to thank Pedro Neves for the invitation to moderate this section and congratulate him for organizing the conference Urban Creativity. I also thank the participants and everyone who is present. This panel 1 is dedicated to the subject of posthumanism. And begins with the presentation of a project entitled Transhuman Simulation. The authors of this proposal are Alejandra Taylhardat, Marie Martins, Marla Dias, and José Miguel Abreu. They are going to talk about posthumanism, namely tackling the anticipatory vision of creating a new body for human beings in the possible future, betting on the improvements of the human condition, associating ideas like longer lifespan, immortality, and the objectification of the body. I will give the floor to, I think, Alejandra.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm going to share the screen. I need the host to enable the screen sharing, please.
Yes, I will. Okay, just a second. Okay, please try now. I think you can.
I can. Thank you.
Yeah, great, thank you.
So I'm going to start now. Okay. Good morning, my name is Alejandra Taylhardat, and I'm going to talk about a project. Okay. For this project, the professors asked us to create an interaction design project oriented towards the development of artifacts of exploratory and experimental character that integrate aesthetic, functional, and communicative concerns, always in accordance with emerging methodologies, technologies, and platforms. The project that we created is based in a transhuman and posthuman philosophy, and presents an issue related to the creation and objectification of bodies. In order to reach this issue, we made a research about the new ideas that emerged from the transhuman and posthuman theories. We studied not only the benefits, but also the disadvantages of this movement, which helped us identify the objectives of our project. One of the central concepts of the utopian thinking of transhumanists is the extension of life through genetic engineering, nanotechnology, cloning, and other emerging technologies. Till then, eternal life may even be on the way to becoming a reality. However, since man is a great being by nature, the posthumanist aim is to go further and to improve human capacities by achieving immortality. Another focus of the transhuman ideal is that, in the search to improve the human body through the use of implants and new technologies, the man will eventually become a cyborg. As Ivana Grigori points out, the man will become a cyborg to adapt to the new space, which will be technological, without knowing if this will represent continuity, sacrifice, transcendence, or surrender of the subject. This new transformation will bring a new perception of the human body and of its evolution in the future. In this way, the cyborg becomes an instrument of liberation, liberation from Western narratives and gender, and an instrument to change our identity. Donna Haraway argues that by becoming cyborgs, we will understand more easily that the oppositions we establish between humans and non-humans, natural and artificial, organic and inorganic, are just ideas that can be destroyed and remade. And more than that, she believes that if we feel free to see ourselves as part human and part machine, we may also find it easier to break down other positions of gender, race, and species. This will finally lead to the body becoming a means linked to our identity, which can be constantly reconfigured, reshaped, and redefined to build what we are. In this way, this improvement will lead us to evolve into a species that is completely unrecognizable to what we are now. With all these non-human premises and ideas that we just mentioned about reaching immortality, the enhancement of body through genetic modification or new technologies, and the creation of a new identity beyond gender and species as objectives of our project, and then we searched the ways that could bring this new reality to existence. In this way, we discovered that to achieve immortality through technology was a deeply discussed theme in the concept of transhumanism. One of humans' fear is unknown and what happens after life, which led to a fight against the reality of death once inevitable. With mind uploading, it is theoretically possible to exist as a conscious being after the death of our body. Mind uploading, also referred as total brain emulation, is a process in which our consciousness is transferred to a digital domain. It is important to point out that this idea derives from materialistic views as well. Transhumanist also shares the opinion that the evolution of human beings must not remain dependent on nature alone, which causes genes to pass on by a random mutation process, but that there must be an intervention with the aim to optimize the process. All of this leads to the problem statement of our project, the creation and objectification of the body, the vehicle for existence, as a means to reach immortality and a new identity, enchanted by new technologies. This problem statement was answered through the creation of a digital platform focused on a virtual and visual experience. This platform serves to create bodies to inhabit and will develop in two phases. A first phase of physical creation of the body with new technologies emerging from genetics and robotics, and a second phase of mind uploading, where memories and consciousness will be loaded into the body so that the user can inhabit it. This will highlight the ethical and moral part of the philosophy of human life, the evolution of the human being and his capacities, the idea that he is not the center of the universe and that he himself is interconnected with the environment he is surrounded by, and this will also present the benefits and disadvantages of this supposed new reality. Once we had the problem statement ready, we created a questionnaire to see how the people felt about these subjects and how they would feel about issues already associated with the themes of mind uploading, change of body, identity, and immortality. This later serves as an indication of the ideological path that we wanted to follow and the creation of 4 personas. We created 4 personas that weren't satisfied with their bodies, and that could resort to our platform for a body change. They could reach our platform for more specific reasons like to match their gender identity, to reach immortality, to design a custom body, or for necessity after an accident. Personas like Alex and Emma really helped for the development of our platform. Alex is a non-binary persona which is unsatisfied with the sexual characteristic that his body presents, which was a concern that gave us a more broad view of the constant change in gender identity that are emerging in the actual society and that will shape the future. Emma, on the other side, is an artificial intelligence that wants to have a human body, which is a desire that leads to think about the difference between humans and AI that are starting to become less and make us reflect about the role they will have in the future. Later, we made user journeys to mark the steps in the platform and an interaction flow to organize it. We made a platform that works as a questionnaire for the customization of the body, which objective was to raise ethical and moral questions about this process. What it will mean for human life as we know it, optional advantages and disadvantages that this could bring for the new society. Each question that appears in the platform is accompanied by an audio that does not only work as a tool for accessibility, but that brings further the content of the question and presents more information about the choosing that we are making, in order to call for reflection before we submit the answer. We introduce the platform with a brief summary of what is the transhuman and posthuman philosophy, along with a teaser that brings these ideas in an impactful way. Then, the first section starts with questions about the primary and secondary sexual characteristics that this new body will have. We wanted to get away from the traditional conception of gender linked with sex, being that in a transhuman society, conceptions about gender will probably be different from today. Then, the section ends with the possibility to choose between having a human, an animal, or a robotic anatomy. If we choose to have a human anatomy, we can choose between having the same body that we have now or having a new body with a new set of ethnical characteristics of our choosing. If we choose to have an animal anatomy, we can choose if we want to be fully animal or only partial, which part of our body can be mixed with the animal, and if the animal is an invertebrate or a vertebrate. And finally, if we choose to have a robotic anatomy, we can choose if we want to be fully robotic or only partial, and which part will be the robotic part. After we customize our body, we pass to the second phase, the phase where the specifications for the mind uploading are recollected in a section where you can choose how will the mind uploading be and if you want improvement for your body. When we answer all the questions, we will reach the result section. In this section, for each kind of anatomy, human, animal, and robotic, we will have three results: basic, standard, and premium. Being the premium the more expensive one, and the basic the cheaper version. This result escalating on logic of growth. The better version will be the bigger one and with more features. Meanwhile, the basic version will be the smallest version. This will highlight the economic and social disparities that will come to exist in the future. The platform presents over 200 results for the questionnaire. For this prototype, we will only present three: basic, standard, and premium from each category: human, animal, and robotic. Once the process is finalized, we will pass to a page that has all the credits of the image, and then we will receive a phone number to make the medical test necessary to create the body and realize the mind downloading. For this platform, we decided to focus on the visual side of it, thus creating a design that was athletic and that reflected the posthuman nature of it. So for the design, we used vibrant but cool colors like neon green and neon lilac. We only use them in the background in the form of a moving gradient to obtain a cool and mysterious ambient for the platform. We accompany this with straight lines, grotesque and white typography, and simple buttons, so as not to distract the user and give too much visual weight. Finally, we also added dynamic details like animations associated with perfect bodies and some metallic typography in order to make a futuristic reference. We decided to create the video proof with the intention of being a small teaser about the platform's theme. This video has a visual stimulation power, which is based on representative image of the concept, short phrases, words associated with the ideologies that we approach it, and animations to bring more dynamic to the video. We also use a background music that made the video gain more intensity, giving more body to the whole concept. In the end, we can see that the platform that we created reflects our desired objectives in a simulation of the experience of this transhuman society, in which we ask to ourselves what we will become and what implications this will have for us. Now we are going to present the video teaser. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Alexandra.
Thank you. Okay. Pedro, I don't know if we put the questions now or at the end, or
I think it's good to place after each presentation, because it's fresh there, and then in the end, if we have time, to do a discussion between all, if people want to make this kind of consideration. So we have a question already from Isabel.
Okay.
Isabel, go. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. It's scary. So my question would be about I mean, since you have been researching and thinking about this, and I haven't, which would be the new ethical position of animals in this kind of dystopian future? Because you have been mentioning the possibility of making a kind of hybrid, right? Like human, animals. Obviously, animals are not going to be asked if they want to become half humans. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yes. So one of the ideas of humanism is that the human is the center of the world. we actually believe that the human is above animals. But in the Posthumanist, this is not true. Like humans and animals are in the same level. With this project, we want to highlight this, how to say, this, well, not highlight, but where is this difference? Probably in the future, there won't be the difference between gender and within a species. It will be something that's not human, not animal, that does not have a gender, that will be completely different.
That I understand, but it's as if our progress as humans keep maintaining that kind of superiority over animals, because obviously they don't have agency. They cannot decide whether they want to be part of those fusions that we're planning. Do you know what I mean? So it's like perpetuating that idea of superiority over non-human animals in a way. Am I right? Maybe it's that I didn't understand.
Well, you know what I mean? I think that with in the posthumanist postulates, this difference will be erased, and we will no longer have a superiority position, because it's also because of the emerging of these IU technologies, this artificial intelligence, this will change that we will pass. That probably we will no longer be the dominant race, to the dominant human race, to say it in some way. So we will probably be in the same level as all the other species, and there will probably not be even a difference between species. Probably. But this is
I
just
understand, but I mean, we don't know if animals would agree with that. Anyway. Well, thank you. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot to think about it.
Yeah, it's thought provoking, right? It's
absolutely,
yeah.
That is good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Someone else? Yeah. Okay. So it's Sónia, sorry. Yeah.
I would like to.
There's another question from Esther.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My thoughts or my question is more that although gender is no longer important in this transhuman era, money, these modifications are still based on money. So that makes me think that that there will be standard bodies that different peoples or different brains will share because of the money. Well, imagine a standard body with these features, and these features can be bought with this amount of money, and this other person has this same standard body. What implications or will be there? Because you're sharing like the same body with other people.
Well, so this is actually a little difficult to answer, but let's say that this is a way to show the economical disparities that we'll see in the future. So
it's a provocation.
Yeah, so maybe one of the consequences of this is going to be that we are going to be the same based on our income. So it's kind of a way to almost classify the person with their social status, social and economic status by the way they look. But this also taking the premise that this will only be the only platform that will offer this service, because we don't really know if there will be more platforms that will have other options, and probably that. I don't know if my friends want to say something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's helpful. So the main thought in transhumanism movement is that the society will be still capitalist?
Probably, well, I don't know if that's really a thought of transhumanist. I think that's a thought that we bring in this platform, but that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Okay. I don't know if there are more questions. If anyone wants to ask.
I just want to add that the idea of value as money as we know it, it will suffer a big transformation during our lifetimes, and that's for sure. It's ongoing now. So the idea that we have about money at the present time will be very different in the end of our lives. And we still don't know, of course, what will be the implications and the directions, but certainly one of the things that are putting in question, it's precisely the nowadays capitalism. I don't know if will be less regulated even, or even more dangerous in that sense, that's less regulated, but actually that's the direction things are taking with the cryptocurrencies and this kind of things. It's less regulation. So it's even more chaotic and more savage in this sense. So I don't know, it's just a small add-on on the complex topic. So Sónia, it's better for you to take. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to to intervene, being more interventive, but my English is not enough to. But okay, thank you, Alejandra. The next expected presentation was cancelled by its authors. Sorry. So I don't know if you make a break until the following presentation, or if the third group can start
I think
right
they can
away.
start. Yeah, I think they can start, and we do the big break after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very well. Okay. The next presentation has the title ATMA, Interfacing with the Brain. The authors of this proposal are Duarte Costa, Francisco Janes, Maria Proença, and Rodrigo Amâncio. They are going to talk about the project ATMA that intends to transcend human capacities by pushing its boundaries, expanding the core faculties of the mind and the way we think, feel, and sense. By analyzing the potential of the human mind, the work aims to explore, transcend, and enhance, aspiring to an utopic future based on the possibility of total neural control. I will give the floor to, I don't know, Duarte, Francisco?
It's going to be me.
Okay, Duarte.
Can I start?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. On behalf of myself and my group colleagues, we would like to first thank you for the opportunity to participate in this conference. Currently, we are studying communication design at the Faculty of Fine Arts of the University of Lisbon. And during this last semester, we developed a project in the interaction design course. This project started from a task given to us at the beginning of the semester, where the intention was to create an interaction design project that had as its starting point a speculative problematic directed towards the future. The interactive system could be digital, physical, exploratory, pragmatic, more artistical, or functional. So, as you may know, science is constantly seeking to allow mankind to better itself and overcome the boundaries imposed by nature. However, with the evolution of technology and the growth of human knowledge, the paradigm is now changing. Science aims to create a new human. And by creating a new way of thinking towards the future, transhumanism advocates the possibility of human evolution beyond its current physical and cognitive limitations by means of science and technology. ATMA, which is the name of our project, intends so to transcend human capacity by pushing its boundaries, expanding the core faculties of the mind and the way we think, feel, and sense. By analyzing the potential of the human mind, this work aims to explore, transcend, and enhance, aspiring to an utopic future based on the possibility of total neural control. And according to the transhumanist values and scientific research, the project's standard consists in interfacing with the brain through a brain-machine interface system that enables a computer or any other digital device to communicate with the intellect. This way, the interface's main goal is to map the human conscious, pre-conscious, and unconscious mind by analyzing in real time all neural activity. This conceptual approach not only proposes the interpretation of the collected data, but also the possible control over the brain from giving the possibility of controlling your own emotions to, for example, deleting your own thoughts. The notions of posthuman and transhumanism are essential to understand the development of the project. The growth of these concepts as philosophical and scientific movements implies the configuration of different perspectives, which are organized around the notion of human being and the need to redefine this term so that today it can be faced more as an open notion. The goal is to face it in constant interaction with the technological and scientific advances, as well as deciding how the development of the human being affects the space in which it is inserted. In this way, transhumanism is defined as a cultural and intellectual movement that advocates the possibility of human evolution through science, reason, and technology. And with humanistic roots, its focus is on human enhancement, that is, on improving, expanding, and surpassing the limits of the human being to eventually give rise to a post-human form of life. According to this perspective, cognitive enhancement may be defined as an amplification or extension of core capacities of the mind through improvement or augmentation of information processing structures. And an enhancement is an intervention that improves the human organism in some way, so that a cognitively enhanced person is somebody who has benefited from an intervention that improves the performance of the cognition without correcting some specific dysfunction of that organism. Cognitive enhancement also takes many and diverse forms, such as mind uploading, neural implants, created nootropic drugs, and gene therapy. The concepts of enhancement, transcendence, and exploration of brain capabilities led to the goal of fully controlling neural activity, exploring the possibilities of cerebral and motor correction, and expanding the way we interact with others, with the world, and with ourselves. In order to explore how current and future technology can correct to our senses cognition in our life, we speculate the creation of a brain interface based on a brain-machine interface system, which assumes direct communication between an external interface and an enhanced brain. To design ATMA, we were inspired by various scientific projects in the field of neuroscience and neurotechnology. Our main reference is Neuralink, which is a brain-computer interface that enables a computer or other digital device to communicate directly with the brain. Their goal is to build a fully wireless system that enables communication through a brain implant with potential to treat a wide range of neurological disorders, to restore sensory and movement function. As a second reference, we took inspiration from the Human Connect-Me project, which is constructing a map of the complete structural and functional neural connections performed within and across individuals, offering a unique opportunity to understand the complete details of neural connectivity. Regarding the UI and UX question of ATMA, we created a brief questionnaire to analyze.
Sorry, Duarte, the
Yes.
PowerPoint is not.
Rodrigo, it is Rodrigo who is commenting.
I don't know. Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
So regarding the UI and UX creation of ATMA, we created a brief questionnaire to analyze the knowledge of a random sample of people regarding the project's theme and its possible ramifications. These questions address the participants' general notions of transhumanism movement, its benefits, and consequently the interest in an utopian future from the perspectives of the movement in question. The creation and development of the personas was followed by user journeys, interaction flows, and finally a flowchart. The production of the wireframes for the interface led us to create the project's visual identity, as you can see, establishing the connection between the human mind, the alteration and control of different parts of our brain, and emotional states. We decided to call our project ATMA. The word ATMA is a term used in Hinduism for the soul and the principle of life, the concept generally used to define a higher self or spiritual being, which is beyond the body and mind, comes close to the concept of Atma. We made 3 logo versions that are used throughout the interface in different situations. The first one, which is on the left, is used in the connection stage. The first version, which is the one in the middle, is used only in the connection stage between the neural implant and interface. The second one, which is the one on the left, is used in the rest of the interface, always located in the upper left corner of the screen. And the third one, which is the one on the right, corresponds again to a full version of the logo, but this time is accompanied by a visual element, like a bar, and is used individually during the navigation. These visual elements, this bar in the third image, is a representation of the data analysis process that occurs in the succession of the successful connection between the neural implant and the interface. This visual element is also used inside the interface when the user wants to communicate with a personal assistant. Also, this visual element is important to refer that this visual element is associated with a color palette, which varies between colors such as blue, lilac, purple, red, orange, yellow, and green, which is associated with different emotional states. Having as a main reference the project, the Ekman's Atlas of Emotions, and the respective color coding associated with the interpretation of different emotional states, we decided to apply the same method of analysis and interpretation in our project, having 5 pairs of colors, each corresponding to a different emotional states, as you can see in your screen. Navigation in the interface is only possible from the moment the user has the brain, the neural implant that later will give the possibility to start controlling the user's brain. As you can see, these first moments after entering the interface concern firstly a connection between the implant and the system, which is followed by data analysis, brain mapping, and creation of neural networks, actions that are taking place in real time. After this, the homepage is presented to the user, where you'll find a dynamic color background that changes depending on the user's emotional state and the color code that we showed before. As a complement, there are also insights from the interface's assistant that are intended to help the user in exploring the interface and achieving his goals. The interface's menu was built to a scientific basis. It was designed in accord to Freud's theory of psychoanalysis and the iceberg metaphor, starting from the logic that the human brain is divided into 3 fields: conscious, pre-conscious, and unconscious, and subdivided into several categories. The menu's organization is then made according to these divisions. In other features of the other points of the menu, such as the area of memories, you can share them on another device, for example, smartphone, in order to visualize a certain memory that the user had. And memories are presenting according to an organization in filtering logic. And there is also the option of editing a memory or even deleting it. Apart from all these technical features, it is important to mention that in any section of the application, it is possible to communicate with the personal assistant, although it is on the homepage that communication is more complete, given the presence of the insights. Communication does not require any interaction by touch, voice, or text for the simple fact that the neural implant is able to recognize when the user wants to communicate with interface, thus making it inclusive for any user. To finish, our research gave us a really big insight about future possibilities and made us wonder what makes us human now, in addition to what we can become through technology. Questioning how the unstoppable progression of technology may impact humanity, we found that the possibilities around this notion are almost endless. We elaborated a user-based experience whose main goal is to interface with the human brain and explore the expansion of the intellect. And our work represents already unique speculative design practice, composed by proposals that interrogate the limitations of human evolution and current technology, and to, after all, experience and experiment with the possibility of those alternatives. I'm going to send the link of our semi-functional prototype for anyone who is curious. And to finish, we are going to share our teaser. Rodrigo. And thank you for your attention, and have a good day.
Ok, obrigado, Duarte.
Obrigada, thank you.
Thank you.
Very well. Okay. Yes, Pedro.
Yeah, very, very impactful teasers and mind-provoking ideas and thoughts. But personally, I have one as I give time for other people to raise their hand and put questions. I have this compelling thing to make this question or to share this thought that I think this idea of one-way control over the machines, not using the finger to control the mouse pointer or opening this window or that window, using your mind directly to write, for instance, or I think everyone thought about that, you know, everyone wanted to not being dependent on their ends to, you know, put other things in motion or to control an interface. But that in fact opens the door for the other direction. That's something external to our mind, deals directly with our mind records, you know, like this thing with some naturality that you said, like erasing a memory. It's very, very dangerous, you know, because today I want to erase this memory, but tomorrow that memory will be saving my life, for instance. And this is kind of very philosophically very interesting place to be, but at the same time it makes us think that if we search ways of solving things in one direction, maybe we are generating a big problem in the other direction. And that what I was thinking when you were showing. Yeah. But it's very beautiful and very well presented and very well thought. And I think it's even it's less utopian and less far from the first presentation. I think it's maybe near. Did you, in your research, encountered what was the limit of the in practice development in this area that you found? There are people already moving things with their brain. Like I know that there are like implants and stuff that you can move your hand with this kind of, but I don't know if it's directly with the brain or with nervous system. I don't know.
In the spectrum of, like you were saying, for example, deleting a memory, no, but we, as I said, Neuralink is already working on a chip, which is called the Link, and they are working towards, this idea of controlling the brain through a machine. So our project is more, yes, Connect Me and Neuralink. Thank you. Our project is more of a estou-me a faltar a palavra. Speculative thing, and not so like a certain like something that is
already tangible, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if this answers to your question.
No, it's yeah, it's okay. Well, this is not an area of my full interest, but I will check these links of the Neuralink and what they are doing here. Connect
also,
to me. And Neuralink. Yeah.
Also, Michukaku, I think that is the name. I will put it here also. It's a scientist that talks about these themes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great scientist.
Isabel, go. Yeah.
Thank you again. No, I totally understand that this is purely philosophical, that it's not that you personally actually planning to do anything yet. and I think it's worth it because it's there. So my question is, have you thought of which could be the future in that kind of potential dystopian control of our minds or whatever, of feelings such as, for example, I don't know, guiltiness? We will feel guilty in the future. Will posthumanism eliminate that kind of thing? I don't know.
Well, it's complicated because when we were making this project and discussing what was possible and what will be like correct, if I make sense, it was, how can I say it? It was never like a thing that were totally não sei se os meus colegas me querem ajudar a explicar. Se é melhor.
I can understand you. I don't know the others.
Yes. To complete Duarte's thoughts, I think it was something that was never really accurate, because we had to also think how far the human notion goes and how these feelings affect how we sense the notion of human. However, we did propose, for example, the arrays of pain. So I think that's something we can consider with this proposal, yes.
It doesn't sound like a good future for psychologists.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe in an app format, right? Psychologist in an app format can be, I don't know. So yeah, it was. Can you explain us a bit the idea for these challenges that you sent to your students, Sónia? Because Sónia,
God.
Yeah, Sónia, she's the professor, and she challenged the students with this post-humanist.
Yes, Pedro, I would like to explain, but it's really difficult to me to speak in English. I think that it's important in the context of interaction design to explore new themes, new kind of pensamento, thoughts, and we proposed to students some issues like posthumanism and transhumanism, alternative IXT also, intersectional feminism, inclusion and accessibility, data surveillance. It's all an issue. Enfim, it's very. We are talking about a lot. About it. Also, pervasive computing and artificial intelligence. I think that all these topics are very important, and it's necessary that the students start right now thinking about them. Also, it's just an approximation. No, it's not the right word, but it's important that they can contact with.
Yeah, be in contact with.
Yes, yes. It's philosophical. Yes, it is. It's ethical. It is. We also talk a lot about the ethical questions. Yes. Technologicals, the future, all the context, the cultural context of the human and the societies. It's important. The inclusion, all these kind of issues.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's uncomfortable. It's not comfortable to talk about this.
Yeah, but it's necessary.
It's necessary. It have also a parallel with for instance, the graffiti topic. Nowadays, it's not already uncomfortable to talk about it. You know, it's like in generic terms, it's like, you know, it's not creating. There are some, you know, borders where you can generate some kind of discussion and so on, but generically, in the, you know, overall idea of everyone, they have for their minds the you know, where the lines can be crossed or not, even if in terms of society it's not solved legally and institutionally. It's, you know, on the way of being solved, but in terms of discussion, it's not fracturing discussion. It's not putting yourself already in uncomfortable situations, only maybe on extremes and stuff. But these kind of topics, they are very, in general, very uncomfortable in the sense that put in question very, you know, relevant things. And it's not from today, right? This is kind of it's an old thing, even from May 68 and stuff. There were lots of these things placed in question already, and I'm having to my mind the movie of Truffaut, the Fahrenheit, and you know, this kind of post or anti-utopian. So these kind of thoughts, they are really relevant in the project and design field, of course. I don't know if somebody else have some question or comment that they want to share at this moment. If not, and because we do not have here one of the group that were presenting in this panel, I will suggest a break until 10:45. I think it was this calendar, and keep the other panel at the same time. So from here to 10:45 we will do a break, and we meet again at 10:45. I think it's the best. So if no one else have any comment and everything, I thank Duarte and Rodrigo and Alejandra, Marie and the other group. So very thank you, and good vacations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. In particular, Alexandra and Duarte, you were great, and to all colleagues who come to support. Thank you. It's great.
So talk soon at 10:45. I will be opening the door again. Okay. So talk soon.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.